going on, guys? This is Grim Reaper back again with the Hero Association, bro. Some catastrophes have happened. The god Murata Sente has descended. We got an amazing chapter in the redraw of 99, so we had to come together to take care of that shit. I got everybody back here. Satsuki the Savage, Zhoniin, Kishin Prime, Sundownrider, and Lookslikeitsmatt. This is whenever you see a miracle, bro, like, it's just so spectacular that you can't believe it. I have been in disbelief about this chapter for a few days. What have you guys been feeling?
Well, the first time when I seen that this chapter was like a redraw, I was kind of pissed off. I was like, yo, when are we going to finish this damn fight? But then I actually read the chapter and I was like, oh shit, okay. Like, I was like, all right, this is it. Like, I was feeling this chapter. I was feeling the redraw.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly. Like, I saw the redesign of Brave Giant. I was like, wait, what the hell's going on here? Then I kept going. I was like, oh my god. And then I saw Phoenix Man transform, and I was like, oh my god! And yeah, it was just so good. A little disappointed that it didn't finish, but other than that, super, super well done. I don't know about a miracle, but I would say that Murata is a miracle maker, though.
I'm just, how does he have the time? He's like, 10 pages every 2 weeks, and then out of nowhere, 40 pages. And it's better than it was before, and it's amazing. Where does he get the time to do this?
I know. I could barely read like 5 My Hero chapters in a day, and he's like busting this shit out.
Let me read the statement. It says, the previous design of Child Emperor's robot looks like a mass production model. I wanted something more befitting of a main character. In addition to that, I wanted Phoenix Man to show greater mobility, so I redrew the chapter completely. 139 will be completed next. It's we were harping about it on Twitter. Guys, follow us on Twitter and shit. We all have like Twitter handles. We all bullshit and post funny shit all the time there. Murata is a god compared to some of these slacking ass motherfuckers. How many chapters of One Piece are hundreds?
There we go. You're gonna say this guy. I knew it.
My hero, like Maggie, like
you
This
best
is
pull
going to be
your
a 3-hour podcast if you don't hold back.
All right, I'll hold back.
You best pull your trousers back up, boy.
All right, so I take my turn. To me, the redraw was exceptional. Every new thing that was redesigned was exponentially better than what it was before. Not that the previous stuff was like bad, but this is obviously an improvement. I was really surprised that I heard some contradictory like opinions about that from a few portions in the community. So I'd like to like maybe explore those later on in the podcast as to why it may be. But overall, let's get into it, man. So Brave Giant. Let's go from the top.
He is the Gundam we wanted.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, like, his redesign is epic. He looks like, I think the original Brave Giant looked very, chibi. He looks very cutesy and very not as intimidating as you'd expect someone like Child Emperor to kind of. He would design something that could intimidate a foe just because he knows how much the psychology of a fight means during a fight. So when I saw the redesign, I loved it, and I thought his sword and his shield with the Roman numerals and stuff on it, I thought it was awesome.
I was
like, never figure out what those are for.
Is that the seal of Orichalcos, bro?
That's what I thought. I was like, that's totally out of Evia.
That, or he's somehow acquired magic and applied it to his tech, which is totally against his character.
Bro.
Nah, he's got one of those spinny Madoo things, that when it spins, it makes like a design.
Yeah.
Bro, you don't, like, I have to explain this to you. Every boy's dream on the western side of the world, bro, is to be a motherfucking knight, bro. A motherfucking badass knight. Fucking coming through, shooting sword, taking care of shit, bro. That was the dream back in the day.
I wanted to be Goku.
I wanted a robot.
So whenever you get what is it, meshings and integrations of like different types of like cultural designs or different things like that, and like, you know, futurism, that shit looks badass. So he basically took the sword and shield concept and like fucking time dated it by like fucking 200 years. He has a Delta lightsaber, bro. A Delta lightsaber, bro, that came out of his right side, bro. And on his left side, a fucking energy shield, my nigga. A magnetic shield, it seems like. Like, come, what? Tell me, and somebody told me that, oh, I kind of like the other one better. Come on, bro. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. This is spectacular. This is craziness. Show me
He
a
also
better
has a
gun.
backpack.
Yeah, the best thing to me about this new design is I love like all the giant robot stuff, but generally with Child Emperor, it's how he displays his gadgets as well. So the idea, it's got this giant backpack. It's got like it's got a little brave as like a keychain on the back.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, like he's got his PE kit where he, like, that's where all the little braves are. Like his Delta, like his sword is in the shape of a geometry tool. Everything like this, it's what's made it 100% better for me. And like I like the first one a lot, but this one's, I love it.
Oh man.
Yeah, honestly, this almost looks a little too powerful for this point in the story. Just my opinion. Like, when I originally saw what Brave Giant looked like, you know, the chibi smooth one, I was like, yeah, you know what, this is fitting for this point. You know, we're only about, what, a quarter of the way into One Punch Man, I assume. So him busting out something like this makes sense. But now with this redesign, this looks like end of series stuff.
I think what's the craziest is, just to talk about Brave Giant, later on in the chapter, Child Emperor says that the Brave Giant isn't even complete yet. Like, he's like, that's part of the reason for the time limit, because it's going to blow up. So the idea that he's already got this robot, which is already competing with Dragon class opponents, and it isn't even finished.
That's a very good point. Totally missed that out. To be fair.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that they mentioned that, because I feel that it was super necessary. Like, originally when they said, you know, it has the time limit and whatnot, yeah, that's cool. I like that it grounded it. I like that it wasn't completely overpowered and it could just do whatever it wants. But the further explanation that we get of it being incomplete, and also we actually find out that when the time is up, it will in fact explode. Something that we weren't really privy to in the previous two updates of this. So I'm really glad that they gave us those two explanations.
I wanted to talk about that as well. Could we say that that's like maximizing the effectiveness of this bot, instead of like allowing it to be trashed, or him not having a way to transport it away from the battlefield if it does get, you know, once it does become disabled? Should it blow up? Should it be used as a weapon most often, or most likely? Or is that just too dangerous?
No, I think it should
I was
be.
going to say. Oh, go ahead.
All right. I was just thinking, yeah, he should use it as a weapon, and if it comes to that situation where he kind of has to abort, and it's a last resort kind of thing. I mean, like, it's basically Diva from Overwatch. Just put on the boosters, fire it away, blow shit up.
Excellent analogy.
You don't want the enemy reverse engineering your tech when you leave the battle. So you blow that
that's
shit
another
up.
point.
Motherfucking Kishin. I didn't even think about that shit.
It's true, but I also have an idea of it has this exploding function while being incomplete. Let's talk Gurren Lagann. Robots piloting robots. It's too much power for this particular bot to function with. And then once it reaches a certain time limit, it essentially overheats and blows up. But then when you funnel that into a bigger robot, that excess power is going to power this larger machine, and then it's a lot equal or more balanced power load.
Never mind, I don't agree with you.
Oh, well, then fuck you. I love giant fucking robots, and if they pilot other giant fucking robots, I'm having a good day.
Yo,
So
fucking second Megazord.
I'm having my fantasy, damn it.
Hey, Rao fight the power.
A bigger one. Yeah.
Yeah, I was basically going to say it works to his advantage and a disadvantage, because obviously if he stays in a robot while it blows up, which we know that's not going to happen, obviously he's going to die, but if he has nothing else to where he's going to die either way, he can cling on to Phoenix Man like a Cyberman or some shit and just blow up with him. So,
see, the only issue I had with this was, and it's a good point. I agree with Satsuki, but if it was an explosion strong enough to take out someone as strong as Phoenix Man, so a dragon level monster, he would have to be pretty far from the explosion for it to not affect him either.
I mean, he did say if you're gonna die either way.
Unless
Well,
use that shield that he's using on Kid right now.
True, and they have just gone like barreling down like a lot of flaws of the monster negotiation as well.
Bro,
that was ridiculous.
I don't even want to talk about that panel yet. That was the best panel I've seen in months.
We'll get to that.
I assume he also has like a contingency plan, similar to what Kishin was saying about Diva, or whoever said it. I forget. My memory is dumb, but you know, like Child Emperor always has like a contingency for something. So I assume that if it does self-destruct, which I assume it will because we're getting some Chekhov's gun here with that, he'll probably like be boosted away from it or something.
Yeah, but just, I mean, like, judging by how nervous he seems to be, it seems like even where he put in a position where he would have to use that self-destruct, it almost just looks as if he doesn't have a contingency plan in that situation. I mean, like, otherwise he wouldn't be as nervous as he is. He'd still be nervous because this guy's taken him like the full 15, 12 rounds, whatever it is now. But
you know, that's also probably true too, because it is incomplete, so that likely he doesn't have that option to it.
I was gonna say like that. It really emphasizes the point that Satsuki said that like it would be nice to be able to pop on the jets, throw the suit at the guy and then hop out of there. But like this, like you've pointed out, this is his greatest defense. Like if the Phoenix survives this, and once again, we're only using what we know. Why would he not survive this? He's gonna get.
It's not in the webcomic. I can assure you of that. So this is all new stuff.
100%. Then why could this man not take that shit again, become even stronger, and then come eat this booty?
What?
What? Is that what we're just gonna say now? Come eat this booty.
I ain't heard that one. All right, I'll add that one.
Like child finna give the booty. Like no, like AIDS like shit.
Oh man, look, this is I don't condone children eating booty. I'm not gonna.
What the fuck?
All right, we'll get a new reference. But yeah, like what's stopping? That's the other thing. I was talking to my brother earlier today actually, and he was saying that like as of right now, even though it's probably not likely, as of right now, he believes that the only people who can beat Phoenix Man in the series is King and Saitama. I don't want to go that far because I think it's ridiculous, but
not even Orochi?
Wait, King?
How can you kill Phoenix Man?
I think there's all kind of hyperbole here. And,
Isn't
wow.
Surely? Well, maybe I'm looking too far away from it, but isn't it like whenever he revives, there's at least a part of his body left? So maybe the explosion would do it if it literally destroys all of his body and he's got nothing to regenerate from.
Yeah, that's exactly what Child Emperor says. He says, I need to essentially blow this guy to smithereens in order to fully take him out.
Well, he previously believed that just cutting him up would take him out.
Yeah, but he had no knowledge, nor did the audience.
That was a new thing later on.
I'm just saying, like, if that's how Murata is gonna display like the actual solution, and it most likely may be that way, I could agree with that. But if it's just like it was shown before, I'll say it again. How the fuck do you kill Phoenix Man?
See, he's not like Cell. I mean, he can't come back from like one cell and become Super Saiyan 2. I think it's clearly established that he needs somewhat of a body in order to have his resurrection ability. Like, if you blow him up, he's done.
Yeah, I agree with that. But also, I don't personally... If Child Emperor can't do it himself, and if the explosion somehow doesn't totally decimate Phoenix Man, I personally think another S-Class hero is going to just accidentally fall in and be powerful enough to take out Phoenix Man.
Shit. It's...
Yeah, I mean, if Darkshine were to fight Phoenix Man post-resurrection, I think he would probably one-shot him, honestly.
Yeah, it'd be something like Phoenix Man like tries to fly into him and like spear through him, and then just like blows himself to smithereens against Darkshine's body or something like that.
Yeah, that's a scenario too. I mean, he is very powerful, but I mean, he was defeated twice already. I mean, the punch, while the punch that he gives him in this chapter, the over booster punch where he sends him down all the depths, you know, the basically the most epic part of this chapter, it defeats him, and that's a super powerful thing. But that's like Child Emperor's most powerful attack that he can do. And it's pretty impressive, but man, I don't think that leads us to believe that only King and Saitama could replicate that.
No. It's not an instance of like, for example, I was also discussing with him. We were discussing like, because I like I said, I'm against the idea myself. So I propose the idea that we have individuals who can cut you on atomic scales. We have individuals who literally move almost at the speed of light. We have people who can incinerate you with Metal Knight being that tactical person. All kinds of different forms. We have a psychic user on an immensely powerful scale. Like, we do have different savage ways to, like, kill monsters. So that's why I'm presenting the idea, like, should we really take it as, like, you know, you just kill them in a certain way and that's it? Or has these things been showing us that, like, first was the cutting, the next was the punch. What's going to be next? Are we going to set him on fire?
Well, we've seen, like we talked about before, we've seen other characters come back from being slashed up. Prime example is Garrow. But specifically in this chapter, Child Emperor says, I need to blow this guy completely to bits. Otherwise, he'll keep powering up infinitely. And then we see that. We see that his body is still intact after the punch, and that's when he resurrects, just like before when he was hacked up. So if this guy is, like he says, blown to bits, he's done. If he can come back from that, then yeah, probably only Saitama could beat him. But I really don't think that is the case with him.
Well, yeah, even Saitama's left body parts around. So.
Well,
that's like Boros level stuff.
Yeah, he's probably not going to be that relevant if he was only introduced as a dopey bird. So it's probably not going to be the outcome. Any final ideas or any more ideas on like the effectiveness of this new Brave Giant? He's got exceptionally improved mobility. His offensive and defensive capabilities seem to be a lot more improved. And one question, by the way, are the other chapters going to be redrawn, or are we to take this as like a?
Well, I saw a message saying that Murata would be redoing the introduction chapter, I guess, of the Brave Giant.
Yeah, it's already been remade.
Is it out?
Yeah.
Could you drop that?
Yeah, I retweeted it actually. It's just the ending panel of the introduction of Brave Giant. It's just been altered for his new design.
It was the double page spread, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the things that we asked in the poll questions, we were comparing homing missiles to homing feathers. What do you guys think? Appearance, name, comparison, strength, effectiveness. What are your thoughts on these attacks?
Gotta go with the feathers, man. Looks fun. It's a smaller target, so you ain't blowing it out of the sky.
Yeah, I mean, I think the feathers were probably a little bit more powerful than the actual homing missiles, but I'm not too sure if there was a slight joke here in terms of the homing nature of his feathers. I think it was just that he was looking at his target and he was able to direct his feathers, and they're not really homing in on anything besides what he's actually aiming it at.
So you're saying that they call them homing feathers, but they're not homing feathers?
Well, I mean, homing, like, for instance, in the case of the homing missiles which were fired by Child Emperor, they were homing in on Phoenix Man's heat signature, I think.
Yeah.
Whereas the feathers, I think he was just aiming them towards Waganma all along.
And they were, heat signatures, so then it looked like they might have been homing in, even if they weren't exactly on target.
So you're saying that because the homing missiles turned more than the homing feathers did, that the homing feathers should not be considered homing?
Not because they turn more, just because that's what I feel. I don't have any evidence for this. I just think that was the case.
It wouldn't surprise me because it seemed like a fairly impromptu naming, because he had just saw Child Emperor use a homing attack, and he's like, I'll make my own. And then, regardless if he could actually do it or not.
Yeah, and it means each individual feather would have some sort of programming to home in on something, and I doubt it's that complex.
I was going to say, I agree with, I like the homing missiles a little better just because it's more practical. I mean, I don't know which translation did you read, because I read Manga Stream.
I read imgur.com.
Okay. See, because with the Manga Stream translations, Phoenix says he calls it Phoenix Flare instead of homing feather. So I didn't even know he called it homing anything. But
wasn't Phoenix Flare a different move?
Yeah, I think you're looking at a different
way.
part.
Yeah. I'll post a picture in for the people real fast so you see it.
It's after he transforms that he does.
So this was in the previous chapter.
No, this is the later than the Phoenix Flare. Like,
It's when he's attacking Child Emperor and Pagoma at the same time.
Hold on, I'm looking at it right now. Oh, okay, I see it now. Okay, yeah, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, even then, it doesn't really look like. I mean, I see it's like targeting him, but I don't know. It seems kind of weird for him to have a power like that, where it's literally targeting someone. I mean, with Brave Giant, it's understandable since he's a robot. So I don't know. For me, I just would go with homing missiles.
Well, I asked it because the next thing we're going to talk about is Phoenix Man himself. Homing feathers, or excuse me, Phoenix Flare, Phoenix homing feathers, absorption capabilities, fucking, what was it, Talon Claws, some shit like that, I believe it was called. Hold on, let me see the name.
Heat up Talon attack. Which I hate that he tacks on attack to every goddamn thing.
Yeah, bruh, Phoenix Heat Up Talon Strike, bro, like, and then Phoenix Prominence.
Oh my god!
Oh,
that was not the name that I got.
What name
Let's see,
did
what
you
was it?
Really?
Prominence Hawk mode.
Yeah.
Oh, I got Phoenix Prominence Hawk mode.
Yeah.
Which it's weird that only one of these kinds of powers had like Phoenix Fire, and then the other ones didn't, at least in the manga stream translation.
Were we skipping out totally on his Falcon mode?
Bro, yeah, let's do the Falcon mode first, because what is it, like exceptionally increased speed or like?
Yeah, because falcons are like some of the fastest birds alive.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say this is like my
pretty-
favorite little touch to it, because like they're like the fastest. They're just the fastest animals, because like they're like, it's like the only animal fact I know. But when they like dive, it's like 200 miles an hour.
What the fuck?
So I just thought that was just
And he's
I
shooting
just-
fire out of his feathers, so he's jet boosting along with that.
exactly.
Yeah,
And
there's some
I-
crazy YouTube videos of falcons, but please keep going.
No, I think it's just like the design of it, because like that animal's like the peregrine falcon, I think, and then it's so heavily based off that, and that's what I love about this. I love the design of Hawkman, but I think the only reason I like the falcon one a bit more is just because like that small detail that they pay attention to, just like using real life examples and putting it into the art as.
You're absolutely
felt
right.
the
Like
same.
I looked up falcon pictures for reference when I was making my review video. And I was like, damn, this is pretty damn spot on to what it actually looks like.
I don't know if it was trash.
No, there's only one Falcons that's trash, and that's in Georgia.
Not because
there you
like
True.
it-
True.
I can yield. Matter of fact, because I just didn't like it was a different bird. Like it's a fucking phoenix. Like why compare a falcon to a phoenix? That was my only thing. Like, I just found it odd. You already have a mythological like flying bird, badass as fuck. We got a panel of this motherfucker turning into the fucking and look like fucking Moltres straight up, bro, out there busting through invisible shields. And then we go back to a falcon. Like, no doubt falcons are fast. No doubt, yeah, cool and all. But like, come on, a falcon to a phoenix.
Or the other way around. Yeah, I wasn't triggered by that at all. Like,
And he did Falcon first.
Did he do Falcon first?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
just to say it, Grimm. Why? So comparing a falcon to a phoenix, why do you like a hawk to a phoenix so much though?
Yeah.
I think Grimm just doesn't like the aesthetic appeal of it, honestly, because the Hawk mode looks awesome, and the Falcon mode, in comparison, doesn't look as good.
We've said it
Let's keep
before.
saying
He's a
Hawking.
strategic
Okay.
fighter, so him changing forms makes sense to fit the situation.
Yeah, the Falcon mode is just signifying an increase and the delineation of just strictly speed.
Yeah,
think
and I like this design as well. I mean, like, you have the dark kind of posterior feathers and then the speckled underneath, and he has like this tribal flame kind of design going down his neck and down his back.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that the flame design looks great.
Bro, the Phoenix Prominence is the coolest shit we've. Bro, Phoenix Man, the regular Phoenix Man himself was fucking badass. Like, we all gushed over that shit, nut everywhere. But Phoenix Prominence, nigga, like,
Also, his eye changes, the one on his chest.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, that
I
was-
will admit that the Prominence Hawk mode is one of the best designs that I've seen in this series. So
Like
Yeah,
every
I wouldn't argue with that.
forest.
It's
but like,
And go for it.
I was gonna say that was the other note that we that was shown in the chapter, or in the last one at least. His eyes now, so apparently every single one of his eyes can look in different directions.
yeah, that was one of my favorite little touches about like comparing the previous 99 to this one. Is he's literally like in the last one he literally says like, "Oh, I like my eyes can keep track of everything, no problem." But in this one, like when like all the little braves are circling him, he just goes, "It's no use." And instead of saying it, we just see it instead. We just see the eyes following them, no problem.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's fucking
did like that.
disgusting.
When he assumes prominence mode, he gets that kind of Sauron-looking center eye. But did anybody else notice who actually follows My Hero Academia here? I mean, like,
Yeah.
Grimm can't say shit. Okay, and did anybody kind of get an Endeavor vibe from his prominence mode? I mean, like, the fact that it was called prominence, I felt like it was a
Yeah,
shout out.
I thought it was interesting because it wasn't all that long. We got Prominence Ray.
Yeah, it's like prominence ray or prominence burn or something. I've forgotten what the translation said. And just his design overall really reminded me of Endeavor. And then for it to have that prominence part of it, I thought this has got to be a shout out.
yeah, it sure is. Murata definitely follows My Hero. He's very open about it.
Huh.
Basically confirmed then.
I mean, I
How
don't
does that
want to
make you feel?
confirm anything. He hasn't said it, but I'm just assuming because he has been so vocal about him following My Hero in the past.
Wait a sec, did I just spoil My Hero Academia
No.
for anybody?
It's okay.
No, you
No.
did say what happened.
It's okay. That's what they get for reading that shit.
That was like over 2 months ago. I think you're okay.
No, but I,
I mean-
think, Zhoniin, did you just start reading it?
No, I've covered the whole entire thing. I read it weird. I go back and I'm good. Trust me. You don't
Alright.
gotta worry about me.
Alright.
I mean, just to look at it a little differently from like My Hero Academia, the only other thing it could be is like in Greek gods, like the god of the sun is Prometheus. So maybe it's
yeah.
to do with prominence in that kind of sense.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I like that.
He absorbed, and I haven't seen the redraw, so I'm assuming that the hole that the Braves put into the ground before is what they're doing to this motherfucker here. He ate that shit like a sandwich.
That's funny because I was wondering that myself. Is that completely retcon now? Does that mean that they aren't that powerful, or are those of us who have read that just supposed to assume that it is that powerful, that it could melt the rock, similar to how Orochi's heat beams can? Because I was thinking that when he tanked it. I was like, wow, he can tank something that powerful. But then I was like, wait, are they even that powerful now, considering it's been retconned? You know, a lot of questions coming with that. Still,
And there was
super
even
impressive.
more of them.
Yeah, exactly, that too. So still super impressive nonetheless, but
Yeah, I
just
think
not
it was.
sure how impressive.
I think it was showing that they're as powerful as they were in the first kind of iteration, and he just completely tanked it. Well, he absorbed it. It's different to tanking. He absorbed the energy, I suppose.
Yeah. I should have chose better words, but yeah, absorbed it is definitely
God.
different than tanking.
That is like, oh my god, that's probably like one of the best. We're gonna have to fuck it. We're doing it, and you guys can't say no. We're doing 2 panels of the fucking week. Everybody's picking 2, bro. What the fuck, bro? The one where he's like, where he's releasing the energy and like a hot air wave release of gases, bro. Like he looks like a legit fucking. I don't know how to describe it, man. Like, fucking.
I thought you were gonna say something really bad.
He's thinking up of some weird shit there. I can tell.
Like, this is. Oh my god. So
honestly, he looks almost more powerful than he should be. Like, he's not even an executive, and he looks like some end of arc shit.
And to top it off, he just got this form, so
I
he hasn't
mean,
even had time to like properly develop or adapt to his power.
Oh, here we go. Perfect time for this meme. And it's not even his final form.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Shit.
I see what Satsuki's saying. Like, he hasn't adapted to his power at all. He shouldn't be aware of like what different forms he can assume and stuff like that. But then again, I think you can get away with a lot in One Punch Man just simply because of the nature of the manga.
No, I think he mentioned earlier that he was in control, didn't he?
Now he does that. I mean, I really like the narrative that is pushing in this chapter. It's kind of showing us that the more intelligent and capable you were as a human, the more powerful of a monster you will become.
Yeah.
And especially the special circumstances around Phoenix Man's monster transformation really allows him to become as powerful as he is, because he himself as a human is not just becoming a monster, but he has the added bonus of the bird brain suit along with the mythology attached to it.
I personally, the only part I don't agree with is the possible assumption or the viewpoint that you made earlier that, like, because of his exceptional aesthetic like look, that he like should probably be towards like the end of the series villain, you know, some huge villain, bigger villain of more significance. But
Well, not series, I'm just saying the arc.
yeah. But I feel that way about like almost every other insignificant hero. Like, whenever we got those all those fucking cool ass A class heroes and B class heroes during the initial invasion arc of the monsters, I was like, these niggas are main characters, bro. Like, there was at least 4 or 5 main. There was that guy with the sword, the Black Knight guy.
Oh, Darkness Blade.
Yeah, him. There was a guy that was fighting the octopus before Flashy Flash showed up. His group.
Death Gatling.
I think, yeah, the machine gun guy, and he also came to capture what's his face. There's a bunch of like fucking bro. That's what I'm saying. That's one of the aspects that I love about One Punch Man, that anybody can look exactly how you want them to. They'll be fucking trash, like super duper trash, but they'll look good doing it. And that's
It just really comes down to Murata. He's incredible. Like, even his ancillary characters look amazing. And they could easily be like the end-all be-all of another series, but they're just ancillary to him.
So this made me question the scaling as to exactly what was going on. Obviously they're both Dragon class, but when Phoenix Man stopped Super Vibration Knife, what came into your head?
Considering how short that blade is, it should have been a lot more sturdy. So he had a lot of pressure behind that snap.
Yeah. All right, bet. I did not think about it like that. All right.
And we didn't really get to see much of its for lack of better words, vibrating characteristics.
Yeah, I agree. I was thinking to myself, when is this coming into play? Because I don't know about you guys, but whenever I hear a vibrating knife or vibrating sword, I think of Raiden, Metal Gear Solid, and his
Yes,
shit was
this guy- yeah.
incredibly overpowered, and this not so much.
Yeah, you really only focus slightly on it, and you have to kind of look hard. One close-up panel of where he's got it, and it kind of looks like he's straining and vibrating, but it's not as prominent as it should be.
Look at these, like his veins are coming. Like, all right, I can understand that. Like, he could be making just as much force and just as much effort to stop himself from being slammed down and being cut in half because of the blade. But we could also see this as he's typing a vibration.
I mean, like, I think even if it wasn't vibrating, he'd be having a difficult time at like a high frequency. You'd assume that any one hand wouldn't ever really be gripping it at a specific time, so the blade would just be sliding down closer and closer towards him. But we didn't get something like that.
He even
I think
smiles.
you are right, because he looks like, when he first grabs it, when we first see the blade at all, it looks like he's got it kind of at the top of the blade, but then in the next little panel, it's about halfway. So it does seem to be slipping. And that's
Okay.
probably why he's like, okay, I gotta snap this shit before it gets any further, and then...
And he fucking smiled as he did it too.
I
Yeah.
wonder if that was intentional by Murata.
Yeah, I'm starting to think maybe not, but if it was, props to him.
Yeah.
What about the shields? The shields, at least at the end, when he used the capturing tactic, it seemed like a similar display. They were magnetic. So
Yeah, I call foul on that bullshit. What part of that bird is metal to be affected by that? Unless it's like tapping into like bird biology, where like maybe they can hone in on like electromagnetic waves to navigate, and it's like fucking with him, so his like equilibrium is off or something. I don't know, but he's sticking to the wall. I don't get it.
that's one drastic ass explanation. It works, but I don't think the average like fucking 16-year-old is supposed to go there.
Yeah, maybe it's something to do with the composition of his talons or something, but we don't know what they're really made of. You'd assume they'd be made of whatever normal birds' talons are made of, but
I
not
mean,
sure.
but either way, regardless of the attraction, how is it stopping things? Because like,
Well, maybe because it's electromagnetic, and there's the little brace around it. So because he flew into it by accident, he didn't mean to, like, he didn't notice it before. Maybe it's what the little braves are producing that's keeping it there.
Yeah, but when you see him go into it, there's like all the electricity around him. So I assume that has something to do with it. I don't think this is like any metallic magnetism going on here. I think it's an electrical force that is pulling him to it.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, like, yeah, I think it's going to be hard to explain this one away with science.
But I mean, there's just no metallic explanation for it. There's no metal here.
That's why I went with the biology angle. That's the best I could think of.
he says,
It's not-
go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's just not something we really need to explain. It was just like, okay, Child Emperor's caught him, he outsmarted him, and then we could just get into it.
Yeah, it was just something I was rolling with. I didn't really think about it too much.
When I
Yeah,
saw
I mean,
this
like, I
turn,
think I think the last chapter where he flew into like the cling film, essentially, that would have been just as acceptable.
Or you know what? You know when you get shocked, you seize up?
yeah,
I think it's that.
yeah, but he seized up into the wall.
He ran into it, and he said, I can't break free. I'm assuming that he is seized up from it.
Yeah, I mean, like when you receive a significant shock, don't you kind of like stick to like if it's
Yeah.
a cable or something?
And like
You
in
usually
the
stick
in,
to the
in the
cable.
labs, we did that too, or in the museums. You grab like that ball, that like magnetic ball, or whatever. You touch it, and then your hand would get like you wouldn't be able to take your hand off of it.
Oh, there you go. I assume that's what we're seeing here.
I just like the fact that like all the Braves like dropped down to fucking make the fucking Naruto seal, and then the seal of Orikakos came out again.
some evil demonic ritual going on.
It really is what's going on, bro. All right, so once again, we see more diversity of the brave giant with his giant fist strike, and he's even capable of removing, I guess, limiters, his overboosters. Tell me what's your opinion now that we've gone past like a few chapters. I think it's been a month or a month and a half since we last spoke about this question. The dragonicity of brave giant. Is it true, or is this still questionable?
The head looks like a giant. Or a dragon, sorry.
Wait, you're asking is brave giant like dragon level basically?
Is he a true dragon, not some like fucking?
He's not a pseudo dragon Pokemon.
Yeah,
right?
I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, but he's not no fucking two ninjas. He's a fucking dragon.
I mean, yeah, I think so, but
he's going up against one of the toughest dragon level opponents in the series. I think he's earned the title of dragon.
yeah, he's going up against somebody who just is hacks. I mean, did he even say like in one panel like he's broken or something like that?
Yeah, in the manga stream translation, it literally says he's broken. I like that.
Yeah, it's like he just regenerates, and it's not. I won't say it's not much he can do, but he's just a hard opponent for him, a really hard opponent, and I wouldn't expect that the first time we seen Phoenix Man. Even with the whole reveal the first time, he's been countering everything that Brave Knight has or Brave Giant has. So I believe he's dragon level, but it's hard to say because right now this fight has been pretty even. So
I would say Brave Giant has to be dragon level, just judging by the fact that he does actually kill Phoenix Man this chapter, and then obviously we assume he's going to return next chapter, but he bodies him, so he's got to be around about the same level, a little bit higher.
If Phoenix Man gets time to revive, that may not be the case anymore, given the time limit also.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but previously, or in the last portion of the chapter, it was 1:30 or 1:30 that was left, correct? 1:30 seconds? Or was it 2 minutes and 30 seconds?
I think it was 1:30. I'll go back and check though.
Let's say
If you're thinking of the previous updates, at the end of chapter 98 is what we're going off of now.
Okay. So I think it has been 1:30 seconds.
At the point of impact, it was 1:15. That's when we found out that like the cooling systems are.
You're talking about the last time we see the clock in this chapter?
No, I'm talking about period. The last time we seen the clock. Period. I thought it was like
1:15.
1:15. No, not in this chapter. Before that.
Oh.
Yeah, well then it was
Before
chapter
the redraw. Yeah.
It'd be the full 3 minutes then.
It was 2:30 or 3 minutes.
I'm looking.
I think it was like 2:38 or something. 2:48, 2:38, somewhere around there.
All right. Because I'm trying to see how fast it's supposed to be. Because no, at the beginning of yeah.
I know exactly where you're going with this. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to see how fast these motherfuckers. Yeah, bro. Like,
2 minutes 38. So this whole fight happened in like 1:20 ish.
God damn. That's a lot of fucking shit, bro. Fucking. Alright, so he pulls up.
It's a manga fight.
He blocks the attacks like it was before. He comes after him. The missiles, the flares. Comes after him after the flares. He transforms. He speed blitzes him. Gets on. Oh yeah, I forgot about that shit. About him actually coming on the giant. What does that say about the mobility comparison now? Is he still overwhelming him in speed, or was like the Falcon form literally like just like you stated? Is it just for that? And if it's just for that, should we consider the Falcon form closer to the ninjas now, or no?
Did you say closer to the ninjas?
You heard me correctly.
Hell no. He's pretty damn fast. There's no doubt about that. But those guys are in a league of their own.
Yeah, I mean,
I
like
agree.
they actually like vanish from sight.
Yeah, they move so fast that when they stop moving, reality catches up with them. We don't really see that with Hawk Mode Phoenix Man. I mean, if that were the case, he would easily like destroy Child Emperor before he even realized what happened.
Yeah, I mean, like just the fact that these guys literally, there was a fight they had with Flash where they disappeared entirely and everything around them was just collapsing. And then, like Zhoniin was saying, time had to catch up to them after the fight. Nah, they're way faster than Phoenix Man.
Exactly. Like a good example of his speed here is in the panel when we see Child Emperor's face machine gun shoot at him after he takes Waganma into his safety, and he's like easily evading around machine gun fire. That's basically how fast he is. He can easily evade machine guns, but the ninjas and Hellfire and Gale of Flash, they're like practically stopping time.
I'll leave it at that for now because I don't have much evidence to say otherwise, and it is pretty. So then, these matchups, you guys really harp on these matchups in, because this guy is taking on what we already hyped up to be a really strong guy, and he still can't deal with their speed. That's just too much of a factor. I can accept it, but one of the Easter eggs though, that was actually pretty important. What do you think about the Subterranean King and the two centipedes?
Oh,
All right, so
I
I'm glad
like
you
that.
brought this up because, funny enough, we actually talked about this. I think 2 podcasts back, 1 or 2 episodes back. What were you gonna say, Matt?
No, I was gonna say we've talked about this. You brought this up a couple times, Zhoniin, I remember. Yeah.
Oh, a couple of times. Okay, well then it's perfect that it's finally come to fruition because honestly, I really had no idea that this was gonna. I mean, no one did because, like I said before, it was just a fan suggestion. So I guess I'll say it for those of the listeners who aren't aware, but we see the Subterranean King, the mural of him, along with the 2 centipedes behind him, and then we see the scattered corpses of all the Subterraneans in this chapter, and that's because the Monster Association itself originally belonged to these guys, the same guys that we see early on in the series, that Saitama wrecks both in dream and reality, and apparently this wasn't always the case. Because in one of Murata's live streams from a couple months ago, I think it might have been chapter 92, around that time when he was drawing up that chapter, one of the people in the live stream asked, like, where did the Monster Association come from? Because it's like this huge open place. What is the explanation for this? And then another person said, oh, that would be cool if it belonged to the Subterraneans. And then Murata was like, oh, that would be cool. But little did we know, he actually talked to one about this, and it seems that they came together and agreed that, yeah, that is a great idea. Let's use it. And it's honestly perfect because it ties together a couple storylines, and it really makes everything seem just so much better this way. It's so fleshed out. I mean, it's too bad that they didn't come up with them themselves, but this isn't the first time that a mangaka has taken the suggestion of a fan and reinforced the story from it. But I couldn't be happier. When I first saw this, like, I almost crapped my pants. I was so happy.
So, would it be wrong to maybe believe that this may be the tomb of a Subterranean King, and he may have 2 centipedes guarding him, or was this just a mural of like what it used to be?
I'd say a mural.
No, you're thinking of like a Subterranean King similar to the one in the dream?
Yeah, but an actual powerful one.
Nah, from what we see, he looks exactly the same as the one that we see in reality.
I actually thought he was wielding the centipedes as like whip sword things until I noticed the sword on, I guess that would be his bottom right arm.
But the thing about the centipedes is that there's 2 of them, so that's interesting. But first of all, the centipedes we can assume is Elder Centipede. I mean, it's really ambiguous. It could be Elder Centipede, Senior Centipede, or whatever the little one. I forget his name.
Or something.
But we know that Elder Centipede comes from underground, so this makes sense that he was chilling down there with them. And also, he is an executive. He had to have met Giro somehow, so we could assume that when the Monster Association cleared out all the subterraneans, they ran into Elder Centipede and they're like, "Hey, you're not a bitch. Why don't you join us? Oh, you can get Blast too if you want. We know you don't like Blast." But the 2 of them is very interesting because I hope that there is another Elder Centipede, maybe even more powerful than the one that we already saw. That would be.
See, I was thinking current day for all those ideas, and I don't. See, I was thinking that was his tomb, and that by us breaking through here, it was once again going to cause a disturbance of this, and that we were going to see 2 centipedes and a different version, maybe the dead subterranean king, actually come out and then cause some issue, and that's when we would have probable cause to have other heroes come participate, whether it's Drive Knight, whether it's a Flashy coming back, or whether it's another hero already being in the vicinity or whatever. Especially because go ahead.
I was going to say, I would say there would be credence to what you're saying if he didn't look exactly like the one that we see in reality.
Yeah. Especially with like all the dead bodies there, bro. I really thought it was like that the Monster Association like fought like the Subterranean King's army, and like that's where they have this place or some shit like that, or that like he's down here and he's just dead Subterranean Kings, or dead Subterranean people. But I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, they actually Hellfire and Gale confirmed this when they're talking to Flashy Flash. They're like, "Hey, you like this place? Yeah, we killed all the former monsters here and took it for ourselves."
Okay.
Now we see their graveyard.
Yeah. This is actually right below where they said that thing to Flashy Flash.
Yeah, it is directly below that, actually. Yeah. Huh. All right. So Brave Giant slams the fuck out of Phoenix through the ground, like falling several floors. In terms of destructiveness, what type of display would you guys rank this as?
What are we ranking it like? What's the rankings?
I mean, name some other people have done better or like that are around the
or
same.
like okay,
yeah.
Comparing it to someone else. Shoot. Damn. Let me look at this panel real quick.
There's at least 24 floors that I've counted.
God damn.
I was gonna say, I know someone counted this. I
mean,
personally didn't. I just rounded up to 100.
I mean, you. I think you put this as one of the questions, one of the poll questions.
Yep.
But I'll put it up there with Rover.
Rover's like the only one that we to compare to with this, because in Chapter 91 he does something extremely similar.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I could only kind of compare it to a week ago Ketsu punch, like when he threw the punch against Bakuzan and destroyed like half the stadium.
Oh yeah.
Dragon of the Darkness Flame.
Yeah, I could see kind of Genos doing something similar, just because of the explosive nature of his attacks.
Yeah, that's actually pretty accurate, because he does blow out Elder Centipede with his Helix Cannon. Elder Centipede's about the size of that hole, if not way bigger.
Way bigger. He's got.
We do see a staircase for comparison, so. It's a big ass hole.
Like, damn, bro. Like, that shit's like. I just love the way he draws scenery sometimes, man. It's like I would want to walk through that.
It's freaking amazing. I mean, aside from it just looking that way, but then you also have to remember that the timetable that he does this shit, it's freaking blowing my mind.
I love it when Murata does these panels where you don't actually see the attack hit. but then you just have to piece it together in your head. So it was the same. So like you don't actually see like the knuckle sandwich like hit Phoenix Man and send him flying. It's like with Atomic Samurai when he fought Rhino Wrestler, you don't actually see the slash that kills him, but then you have to put it together in your head like, this is what happened. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's better.
Exactly.
I think that's better. Like that's the reason why we read manga, to see the image and then to piece it together ourselves. It's better than the book, and it's not the same as an anime. And I think it's a great medium to see it in, and this is exactly how you take advantage of it. I agree.
Sorry to go off topic, but real quick, the My Hero manga and anime does that a lot. What we just talked about, where I've been reading the My Hero manga so much, and it has like a lot of these scenes where it just cuts from one sequence to another, and you kind of have to piece together in your mind what happened. But in the anime, it kind of just shows you everything, and it just spoon feeds you it. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, but I also really liked piecing it together myself, going off of panels.
Hey, at least you get two different experiences that way.
Yeah, exactly. But Murata, let's go back to him. Just an incredible master at this.
Yeah, that's kind of the reason, kind of the whole joy of books, where you get to imagine the entire thing yourself, but getting a point in the right direction of what it's in the author said is always amazing as well. There's also another portion, and I wanted to get you guys' opinion about this, because I'm not sure if I should see it this way, but whenever they bust through, they're busting down through the facility, he notices the transponder, and it's stationary, I believe. Then as he's falling, and as we actually break through the last part of the roof, we find that we go into the cavern in which Flashy had just finished fighting. And as a Phoenix blows up, we get a phrase that shows and says, "The signal is close. It was moving at high speed just now," which means Mr. Flash. So, should I take that sequence to mean that from the moment that he busts through, or that he was busting through the floor and approaching to come out into the cavern, to the moment that Phoenix explodes, that's when the Flashy Flash fight happened?
That's probably the only way you could really take it.
Because the last page we saw of that fight was him walking, like, into the cavern. Like, into that, like, the waterfall, or the little cavern thing, whatever, to, like, find his way or whatever.
Yeah, the three diverging paths that he didn't know which one to take.
Yeah. And he decided to drop his sword and then, do that. So...
yeah, I'd say it's been about, like, maybe 10-15 seconds since his fight, because then he would have heard the kind of the ceiling collapsing behind him, unless he thought it was the rest of the cavern falling apart after what they did. So maybe he was either ignoring it or he was simply too far away to hear it.
Very possible. I mean, given how far down he was from that fight, who's to say he didn't, like, as soon as he lost that transponder, that he just zipped on until he found that branching path, and it's like, shit, now what do I do? Oh, sword trick.
No, because the transponder was lost while he was in movement. So what we see, like, after he says it's moving at high speeds, and now it was moving at high speeds, and now it's not, that's when the transponder fell into the water, when it stopped moving the last time. So I'm saying, when he was falling, that's when the fight happened. Like, in the time that Child Emperor went through the roof and fell in the ground, Flashy Flash killed those two guys and then started walking in the hallway.
But do we see the transponder actually showing movement this chapter?
No.
So if it was always constantly still, then that means that the fight could have ended for a while.
See, I'm not really sure, because the signal never moves. Like, the two shots that we see of it's in the same position both times. And Grimm, you bring up an interesting point, and it is possible, I suppose, but I don't really think there's enough to show us that that is the case, because when Child Emperor does come through the ceiling, it looks like everything's settled in the ravine. You know, like there's no more debris,
Yeah.
there's no smoke of the explosions and stuff. I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on at the end of that fight. Like, they were having this crazy Dragon Ball Z fight in like the fraction of a second, and then everything caught up to them and there was mad explosions. But when Child Emperor comes through there, it looks like it's just chilling now. I'm not saying you're wrong, because I honestly do not know if it did happen, or if Murata is trying to show us that. Just to me, it doesn't really seem that. But it could be the case.
100% agree with what Zhoniin just said. Like, I was literally just skimming through like the end of the chapters, and obviously the speeds they're moving at are great, but when we get there, it's fully settled, and that would take at least like a minute, but maybe 2 minutes or longer for it all to do that. So yeah.
Damn, I guess so. I just don't know what I'm supposed to like. I don't know, cause that would be it exactly. Like, the only response I would have is that I guess there's a little smoke at the bottom of the cavern as he's falling down. But
I personally took that to be just like, you know, like the bottom
mist?
of a waterfall.
Yeah, the mist.
I guess not, huh? Little fun.
It could be. I mean, it honestly could be. I think it's like Schrodinger's cat here.
And then we see Flashy over here deciding.
I love that so much.
Funniest moment in the whole chapter.
Funniest moment we've had in like 5 chapters.
True enough.
Yeah, I just liked how dire the situation was for Child Emperor. He's there desperately calling out for Flash, and then instantly, right next to that, kind of juxtaposed to that in the chapter, you see Flash doing the most stupid performance of the game.
Exactly. Like, I can't wait in 7 years when this episode is animated, because it's just gonna be so perfect. Like, it's just gonna be, and it's just gonna cut, and you just see Flashy Flash.
It's gonna be just 2 minutes of him just standing there, that first top panel, and it'd be like, you have like this epic music going, and it's like you don't know what he's looking at, and then it's the 3 paths, and it's like, oh, it's this.
Yeah.
Clink, clink.
You just hear something. Yeah, you just hear it.
It's made even better because literally the last time we saw him, he was having his epic walk away from it, like very similar to like Saitama versus Boros moment, and now he's just like got this stupid look on his face, like, yeah, this way. That's where the song from.
After they get the ravine and we see Flashy do all that, they plunge into the water. We see Phoenix, I guess, like, we see his black carcass falling into the water right after Brave as well.
And why it gotta be black?
Hey.
I would say charred. Let's go with that.
Alright, yeah.
It's appropriate.
The black color, you fucking racist. You're the only one's done about that. And then they come to the corpses, or whatever you want to call them, cadavers. I don't call them. I don't care. Of the subterranean people. Are we gonna see like a special effect in the water, or like is Brave gonna be disadvantaged down here, or what's up?
If anything, the water's actually helping him.
Yeah, because its cooling system was damaged.
Bingo.
Guys, that's not how that works, guys.
That's statue
It's literally liquid coolant at this point.
That's not how that works, guys.
So, I mean, in this world it does, because before this, it says battery explosion imminent. What else does it say?
Something about injection, isn't it?
Yeah, basically it was overheating, so diving into a massive pool of water is going to cool him down.
Yeah, it said that it's like cooling thing is very able to cool it. It got here before it explodes, and then he falls into the water, and then what Ganma specifically says, yeesh, it's cold. So I assume that this cooled him down and is probably going to give Brave Giant like a couple more seconds of life here.
Like that kid wasn't going to complain.
20, 30 seconds more, so he can survive a little bit longer after this point. Like, he doesn't immediately have to get out of him, like what it originally said.
Well, the only issue he's facing there is there's a couple holes in Waganma's biosphere.
Yeah, which how does that work?
How are there holes in it?
I think Phoenix Man shipped it away with the homing feathers.
Yeah,
They
that's
did, but you
exactly
would
it.
think like once enough of that damage wasn't happening.
You cut out.
But
Well, now the main problem is that Phoenix Man's transformed again, and just the transformation is blowing away Brave Giant.
Yeah. This is why I was like, we're probably going to need another S class, or that self-destruct is going to have to come in handy.
The only other thing is Saitama's probably down there somewhere.
Stop.
oh, you think he might pop out from the body and be like holding his breath and be like, and then you just see like a thought bubble of when he fought them before, and he's like, "Oh, I remember these guys."
So Saitama's the only guy for Phoenix, huh? All right.
Or Phoenix Man's going to give us like some big-ass speech. Saitama's going to fall from the ceiling and be like, "I recognize that voice from a cartoon show." And then he's just going to one punch.
It looks badass. So
Hey.
I don't want to. What?
I was gonna say, I was just gonna plug my video. Please go.
Yeah, I watched it earlier. I really recommend it because I've been wondering why Zhoniin's been so on about Drive Night, but it makes a lot more sense now after watching
thank
that
you.
video. Yeah, it's good.
I'll give it a watch myself
check that
later.
video out. I was gonna say like, I actually kind of liked when he came into the water. Everything looks like he drew every.
He did what?
When fucking when Brave Giant arrived in the water, the art looked pretty badass too. I like how the sand is being kicked up and shit, and then the lights piercing through the sand is getting kicked up, and seeing all the shit on the ground. That looks fucking badass.
Yeah, there's no way you can look at the panel of him falling into the water without hearing it.
Yeah. I like how he's covering like his face and shit as he, typical diving shit, small surface area.
I looked away when someone made that sound effect, but that was pretty good.
Oh, thank you.
You got a talent, man.
What's up with this final transformation? Like, this shit's like, I don't want to say it's shining brighter than the other ones, but should that be a thing that we should pay attention to?
I mean, yeah. It's just signifying that he's gonna be. Oh my god, he was already a dragon originally. So going upward from that, he's likely executive level at this point.
He's not even going to be a firebird anymore. He's going to just be pure light.
Well, just an idea, because obviously, like with God being the top, I'm not in any way saying he's God, but because he's slowly approaching to that level, do you think his new design is going to be angelic in some kind of way?
I assume so. I was trying to figure it out what it would be like, but I keep thinking of Prominence Hawk mode, and I was like, how do you go up from there?
How do you go from there?
Well, I think he might take on some sort of like magma appearance or something. But like he might get like armored parts around him in the form of magma, but I'm not too sure how that would go down.
Bro, like, I gotta point this out, man. Like, on the Phoenix Prominence, bro, it's like he's lightly shaded in certain portions of it, cause it's like the flames look different, and like the color of his wings and shit, they look like it's legit, like high heat, like they look hot, like hot as fuck. Like how do you draw that? God damn.
I assume I know what you're talking about, the shading. I think that might be digital.
Oh, you think it's digital?
I think. I could be wrong. But I know there is quite a bit of the final chapters that we get that are digital. So this could be, but I'm not sure. And he does do some crazy stuff on his stream. that I'm like, oh wow, so that's how he does it. Like he'll smudge something or use like a different marker. But what we're seeing here, it looks, just in my opinion, it looks like it might be a digital touch-up.
Shit. All right. So we're gonna hop into the poll questions for the stream. For chapter 99 redraw, we asked 7 questions. We took to all the different social media polls and in the Discord. Remember to check the link in the description, guys, for the Discord. It's where we have all of our One Punch Man and all of our other manga conversations. And we asked these questions. So we'll ask the heroes here first. Question number 1 is Phoenix Man versus Rover.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly.
Top to bottom. What's up, Kishin?
I went with Phoenix Man, mostly because of that reviving ability and getting stronger.
Did you read chapter 91?
Hey, that's why I justified it with that statement. Otherwise, I'd probably go with our dog boy there.
I'm just curious.
Satsuki?
Bro, man. You gotta put me on the spot, man. Like, shit. Man, I gotta go with Phoenix Man. I gotta go with Phoenix Man. Just because of the regeneration. And also the fact that he's I'm assuming a lot smarter than Rover. Because Rover just seems like a pure beast. That's it. So I think Phoenix Man can run rings around him, probably. I mean, I think Rover would be more destructive, but again, the fact that he can regenerate and he's a lot smarter, I gotta go with Phoenix Man.
Shit. All right. 2 for 0. What's up, Matt?
I'll go Rover. For now, we're going Rover. We'll see how the next chapter goes. We need to see what he's doing, but I mean, Rover shook off Goro's full-on attack like nothing. He literally shook it off. It's got to be Rover.
Damn. So Sundown.
All right, so I agree with Matt in one sense in the way that he shook off Garo's attack, and basically Garo was his plaything. But it comes back to that thing that Satsuki mentioned in terms of their intelligence. And did I die?
I was dying.
Yeah, I was fucking up. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I just
Okay,
changed
so
the
we all
server.
died.
We're good to go.
Yeah.
And then we revived like Phoenix Man.
I don't feel stronger though.
Damn, it didn't work.
All right, so I agree with Matt partially in the sense that Garo, his attack was completely tanked by Overgrown Rover, and Overgrown Rover kind of made him his kind of plaything, his little bitch. But on the flip side, there's the comment Satsuki made about their intelligence. And even though Overgrown Rover has like completely, all of his attacks are almost, I think any one of his attacks would completely decimate and maybe even kill Phoenix Man. If he didn't, Phoenix Man would only ever come back stronger, but I think he'd only ever come back stronger the one time and then get killed again. So maybe, and that time Overgrown Rover would like double tap him and make sure he's dead. So I'd give it to Overgrown Rover, I think.
I mean, that does make sense. Like, if it's as Zhoniin says, then sure, incinerating him, obliterating him, might be able to kill him.
It's not me, man. It's Child Emperor.
Oh. Well, what do you say about this, Zhoniin?
I agree with him.
The short answer, huh?
Because what if he eats him and it just leaves him in his stomach?
I didn't think of that one.
Like,
Shit, I don't know.
I'm not saying he couldn't blast his way out, but like, it's Rover, dog.
What if he becomes one with him? And then Rover gets wings and fire powers and shit, and it's like, oh crap, he was a threat before. I don't
Or he
even know
gets
if there's a
mad case.
Yeah,
What?
I'm gonna go with
I
Rover.
was gonna say he might get a mad case of diarrhea.
All right. So the next poll question that we asked was, does Child Emperor's Brave Giant new design look better than the old one? I think we pretty much answered that. Yeah.
Hell yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. The next one was, do you like the new Divider Shield compared to the old one?
Yes.
I would
Honestly,
like
I
to
didn't-
know the design. Other than that,
Yeah,
I like it.
I didn't really compare them. I didn't see the comparison. Hold on, I'm looking at the chatter now.
Because the old one had the same defensive pattern as the umbrella.
That umbrella shield.
Yeah. While the new ones, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, definitely the new one.
Should just look clean as fuck. The next question we asked was, the homing missiles are for others. Okay, yeah. This is a funny one. The Delta Saber Blade versus Drive Knight Saber, which looks cooler.
Drive Knight.
Man, I like Drive Knight's blade, but I think this one bigger might be better.
A sensible person.
Was that clapping or was that someone else?
Yeah, he was clapping.
Bruh. What do you think?
And you
man?
need to calm down. I said his bigger equals better, but jeez.
What do you think, Matt?
I don't know. They're both really cool. Giant Sword's cool. Delta. Delta. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Delta is better, bro. The Delta is better. You know it. It's just.
I'm gonna be the damn single man out, aren't I?
Oh, what do you think, Satsuki?
Damn. You know what? I'm gonna go with Kishin. I'm gonna say Drive Knight.
Vindicated.
No special reason. It's just.
It just looks raw, man. Like I'm looking at it right now. Like looks like it has like lightning bolts coming out of it. Yeah, just looks raw, bro. Drive Knight.
Does Drive Knight's one remind you of Sasuke when he kind of lightning imbues his sword?
A little bit, yeah.
Fuck Sasuke, bro.
Yeah, fuck Sasuke. I agree.
Damn,
But-
what do you like, Grimm? What do you like, man?
Sometimes you gotta wonder.
It's like we started off this podcast with fuck Oda, fuck Horikoshi. Now it's fuck Sasuke.
So I guess that's fuck Kishimoto in that
Yeah.
regard.
No. I fuck
But
with.
he ain't never-
I fuck with Sasuke. He's straight. The ending of Naruto isn't anything to be accepted, but up until Madara's death, exceptional.
Agreed.
Yeah, pretty much.
If we can agree on that, then can we agree upon Phoenix Fire Falcon being or looking nowhere near as good as Phoenix Prominence?
Wait, Phoenix Fire. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, the Prominence. Yeah, fucking Prominence.
Yeah, Prominence looks better, definitely.
Yeah.
I still like Falcon, mostly because of its utility purpose. And it's got more detail, in my opinion.
Oh, because like the feathers and like the different coloring and shit.
Yeah.
All right. Which did Zhoniin say you prefer between the Delta Blade and Drive Knight's blade?
Oh yeah, he's trying to sneak out.
Thought we were gonna skip over that one. I'm like Matt with this one. Like I like them both. I don't know. I like Drive Knights. If I had to pick a Drive Knight, which I do, I have to pick. So Drive Knight. I prefer that one. But both are super cool. It's like picking like between your mom and dad.
Titties and ass. Yeah. All right, so we may have okay. So the polls are saying something almost the same as us. To the question of Phoenix Man versus Rover, it's 50-50. I think we had like 35 votes. 36 votes, something like that. And it's 50-50. The next question for which Brave Giant looks better? 92% victory for the upgrade. For when we asked which Divider Shield looks better, a 94% victory for the upgrade. When we asked which is better, homing missiles or homing feathers, homing feathers won 56% to 43%.
Yes, sir.
There we go. When asked which looks better, Delta Saber or Drive Knight's lightsaber, wow. Drive Knight's lightsaber over Delta Saber.
Yay!
Vindication again.
84% to 15%. So it was fantastic. When asking who's stronger, Phoenix Man or Child Emperor, the people said Phoenix Man, 64% to 35%. So is he gonna lose the fight then, or?
He can't, man. See, I'm thinking like he can't lose this fight because he doesn't have anybody that can jump in unless, you know, of course, like what we said before, Drive Knight comes in there somehow, some way, somehow. But I just don't see that happening right now because especially since they changed locations. I don't know.
And then when we asked the Phoenix Fire Falcon versus the Phoenix Prominence, Phoenix Prominence won 83% to 16%. So that was also consistent. Yep. Let's head over to the hero comments to find us our S rank comment of the chapter. Swaggo Rago says to the first question, he says that Rover is stronger than Phoenix Man, I believe. Okay. At least we got somebody on our side. Then for the question, does Child Emperor's Brave Giant, the new design, look better? He says, yes, it looks better. It did look like a mass manufactured before, and kids want something unique and cool, which makes sense. Also, Little Brave stayed the same, probably to keep the feeling that they're mass manufactured indeed, which they are. Oh. That's a
fair point.
Yeah. That's comparison right there, yeah. For the third question of do you like the new Divider Shield? He says yes. It still works the same, except it starts like a Doctor Strange spell now, which is cool. Yeah, that's the other comparison to you. Yeah. The hero verses are all intertwining. For the fourth question, what's better, homing missiles or homing feathers? He says homing feathers. I think they have less power, but they are way better controlled. For the Saber question, he says Drive Knight. I think it's biased as fuck. For the who is stronger, Child Emperor or Phoenix Man, he says they're kind of even. If you count Child Emperor as mecha, with an edge for Phoenix Man. All right. And then for the final question, he says both. Fucking cheater, you don't get the fucking S rank comment. All right. Whoever's next, man.
I'll go.
Just going with it? Okay. Yeah.
Next we have anything general for fun. First question.
And what's his second name? What's his second name?
I don't even. Yeah, I.
No, can you? I can't read it. Can you read it for me, Kishin?
Saneku Besto Guro.
Get that? Sorry, it cut out. Can I hear it again?
Saneku Besto Guro.
Can you put the exclamation points on it?
You should really go for the guru.
No, we don't need me screaming.
No, apologies. Carry on.
First question, we've got the overgrown puppy OC. Okay. Wouldn't have described him like that, but to each their own. Number two, certainly does look like a generic mecha. from lots of mecha series, anime, which is probably the point of its redesign. Yeah, I mean, you make enough of them, they all kind of blend together. So unique this go around. Number 3, well, it looks cool though. It did. It improved. Number 4, we got Homing Feathers. Yeah, because of its name. Really?
All right.
Just because of the name?
I agree with that. Straight up.
But okay. Number 5, we've got Drive Night, because apparently they're a Drive Night
Bro, I
fanboy.
told you, fucking confirmed. That's really what it is.
Number 6, in terms of raw power, wait.
Was it
RP.
revived themes?
Reincarnated Phoenix Man.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. I was like, RPM, what? Phoenix Man stomps Child Emperor, but both are clever enough to trick each other, so... yeah. It's been back and forth. We kind of already discussed that, so true enough. And then for the final question, prominence, I guess. Oh, a little bit undecisive there.
Another fucking non-S rank comment. Who's next?
Wait, I'll just go. We have from the absolute VN for the first question. Okay, this motherfucker didn't even. Okay, we can't say for sure. You gotta choose.
Yeah, nigga.
Number 2, much better. Okay, that was the question about does the redesign look better? 3, really cool. They look like some magic spell. Shout out to Doctor Strange. 4, homie feathers. All right. For 5, the saber of Drive Knight is still cooler. So Drive Knight is like killing this shit right
It's
now.
dick riding. This dick riding association has come here.
He's hardly in the story, and he's got the biggest fan base, apparently.
Number 6, for now, Phoenix Man. Okay. And 7, Phoenix Prominence.
Hey, with the exclamation mark. You almost got that.
Phoenix Prominence.
This guy's got it.
Dependent Moo. Why not? Number 1, Rover. Number 2, I think it does a better job of conveying that it's his ultimate weapon, but it has kind of a little too much going on. I guess. I suppose it's just the difference in design. Number 3, it feels kind of out of place. Feels magic-y instead of sciencey. Like, why is there Roman numerals on it? I kind of liked how it was a bigger version of the Umbrella Shield. I just saw that as more like math, like it's going for like a kind of maths design, so that's what the Roman numerals were about.
Yes.
4, Homing Feathers. 5, Drive Night. Oh my god. And C, Child Emperor at first. If Phoenix Man resurrects, since that means he brought Phoenix Man to a near-death state. After this, his next resurrection, probably Phoenix. And then number 7, Prominence Mode. Being engulfed in flames is pretty badass.
Damn straight.
I want to give my vote to that one. Besides the Drive Night part, I agree with that.
Okay, so we got this guy called Scummeridge. Nice. And he's the number 1 One Punch Man fan. Alright, so he thinks Rover, he's a good boy. Alright. Number 2, yes, more complex and crazy. Child Emperor is a kid who'd want to make it cool after all. I agree with that. I really did like the design, the redesign, and I think it looks way better. 3, yes, looks like a transmutation circle. Ah, okay, so we got this guy from Full Metal. I like that.
Yeah.
4, Homing Feathers. Homing Feathers are directly under PMR's control. Phoenix Man...
Revived.
Phoenix Man revived.
Resurrected.
Possibly,
Or
yeah.
Yeah,
Something like
whatever.
that, yeah.
A
So,
lot of R's.
Homing Feathers are directly under Phoenix Man's control, while homing missiles are only heat-seeking. Yeah, so this is kind of the point I was making earlier, in terms of they seem to be more under his control rather than programmed to follow some sort of signature. 5, Drive Knight, probably more powerful. I don't think every single answer has been Drive Knight.
Fucking fanboys.
Ha.
People
So-
love Drive Knight, and I don't blame him. He's got a cool design, but I've seen people say he's my favorite character. He's shown up at the association, and he's killed some Tiger class opponents. I don't class that as enough to say he's like amazing.
Yeah, but my man did turn into a centaur, and that's
True.
pretty hard to top.
Cool design can trump a lot of things in people's minds.
Yeah. 6, Phoenix Man due to infinite potential. Alright, I can dig that. And 7, Phoenix Falcon looks better. Okay, but Prominence is cooler due to absorbing energy and holding off Bunch from Brave Giant. So this guy has said Falcon looks better, but then then says Prominence is cooler. So he's a little bit undecided.
Yeah.
And then he said King Engine.
Hey, King motherfucking Engine.
Alrighty.
The last 3 at the bottom.
Holy fuck, that intro is OP.
No. You
Scroll
don't get
down.
off that easy.
Scroll down a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the last.
Yeah, the last 3.
Nah, no, I'm just playing. Alright, Rover one-shots. Yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about. Phoenix Man isn't getting past his durability. Also true. Oh, this is from Godslayer. He's a part of the Dark Matter Thieves, apparently. Good on you, bro. That's a good faction to back. Number 2, yes, it looks badass. That is true. Number 3, wish I had one. Me too. Number 4, homing feathers. I like that Phoenix Man has numerous abilities. That he does. Number 5, Drive Night Saber. Drive Night Saber. Hands down.
Wow.
Can't wait for him to use it against Phoenix Man. Not a spoiler, just my prediction. Hey, mine's too. It looks like they are on par so far, but Phoenix Man resurrected once again. So I think he's going to surpass Brave Giant next chapter. That is likely true. And number 7, Phoenix Prominence. Also true. Wow, this guy's pretty spot on. I think he was 7 for 7 here. So good on you, Godslayer. Ends it with a King Engine.
Actually, he
italicized
6 for 7. 6 for 7. 6 for 7.
Yeah, 7 for 7. Like I said, good on you, bro.
Yeah. Literally everyone. Oh, we gotta read this one. Oh, we gotta read these. These are the real niggas, bro. All right, this is a special shout out. I'm gonna read this one because it's the truest of the true. Number 1, it's from Niotic. So for the first part, he says, Rover, he's too durable, and his explosive blast will do too much damage. I can agree with that. Yeah, it looks really well made. Awesome. I'm liking it. Great. Homing feathers. All right, bet. Dry. Never mind. This motherfucker's wrong as fuck. I thought he said. Oh,
Why did you read this guy? Why were you reading this guy?
Because I thought
Why are you
6.
reading the next guy?
I thought 6 was was 5, and I saw Child Emperor, but oh fuck, bro. You know what, Niotic? Fucking. I'm not even reading the rest of your shit. No, I'll read it. For number 6, he says, I would barely give it to Child Emperor, since he did win in the end. But Phoenix Man might get a huge buff and overcome him. And then he likes Phoenix Prominence above the rest as well. So I think we can come to a consensus that the One Punch Man community is incredibly credulous, and that we don't know what we're talking about.
I think they know what they're talking about. You just don't like it.
Like it's fun, I guess. I guess I'm just like, I just heard a lot of dissent about this fight, man. Like a lot. Like even from you guys like obviously all enjoy what's going on, but I've heard like little subtle nuances from not just you guys but the entire community about like moving forward in the fight. And I'm not sure if like that's because you guys are getting tired of it or because of the breaks. But I kind of like this fight a lot.
Man, I ain't said shit.
I like it too. We've literally been on this since I think like October now.
October, I think so.
It's like we got like what 4 or 5 other S-class heroes to get into, and like some of these guys we haven't really seen them do anything yet. We've got Darkshine, Zombie Man, a Mind Mask. We haven't seen him do a damn thing outside of like small stuff so far. Same thing with Darkshine and Zombie Man. We haven't seen him do a goddamn thing. And meanwhile, we're stuck on Child Emperor versus Phoenix Man for 2 months now, and it's been great. Don't get me wrong, but let's wrap it up. Wrap that gavel up, B.
Wrap it up. All right. I mean, yeah, I guess because I am extremely excited for the other heroes. Like to finally see a My Mask do something and not just have empty hype. Fucking exciting to fucking see that prospect. Darkshine looks buff as hell, so I'm trying to see what he actually pulls out. I'm trying to see the disciples of Atomic actually work together and do some shit. Cause bro, it's gonna be like the fact that he has 4 or 3 people with him. It just means he's gonna encounter some crazy ass shit. Like you can't like, you get what I'm saying? If Child Emperor is facing these almost insurmountable odds, Flashy fought 2 dragons. What is Atomic gonna encounter? You see what I'm saying? And not only that, what about Bang and Bomb? They're also together. They should also face some crazy ass shit too. So I can definitely see that viewpoint, but you know, let's not rush the greatness, bro. You know, let's slow it down. But aside from that,
No, that's the thing. We have slowed it down. It's been 2 months.
you got it. You got it. So let's get to the art gallery section for our panel of the week. As we mentioned earlier, we got 40 pages, so I think we're okay to do two panels each. Damn. So you had to pick those, huh?
The first one, okay. The first one was Brave Knight. What did he call it? He called it something knuckle sandwich, I believe.
Yeah,
Or was that
giant knuckle sandwich.
Giant knuckle sandwich. Have any of you guys read Kingdom?
Yes.
No.
How far are you in Kingdom? Are you all the way caught up, or?
I stopped when Heki came to give Yotama aid, when the mountain people were revealed.
Oh, shit. Damn. Wait, in the current arc?
Yeah.
In this current arc?
Yeah, because it was...
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Okay, because this picture right here reminds me of when... God damn it, how am I forgetting his name? When Rimpa struck down on Shin and he gave him one of those great general blows. Yeah.
Oh, yo,
That's what it reminded me of. I'll post that panel.
You inadvertently made him do his catchphrase there.
Bro, like that was, yo, when Shin walked up to Renpa like that, bro, and they were like, "No, Renpa," and he just literally dropping him on him anyways. The force, bro. What was it? What they call it? The weight of a general. I think it's how to describe it. Oh man.
He dropped the goddamn hammer on him. I'll post it real quick. That's what it reminded me of. That's the first thing I thought when I seen it.
Just put it on him, bro. Oh shit. And this shit looks worse than what the fuck Hoken tried to do to him.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. This is what you guys should really be harping about and getting on, not this fucking.
Oh yeah, y'all
hero
definitely
shit.
had to get on that Kingdom wave.
Bro,
Like
that's all about it, bro.
for real.
Just in the first 3 chapters, you get like indomitable twists that change your entire perspective on shit. It's worth it.
Second panel is just, it's not necessarily the art, but it's just how deep this fucking hole was. Like it definitely puts it in perspective, and I don't know. For me, it's just like it made you realize, like, damn, that was a punch. Like, punched the shit out of him, yo.
All right, for my panel, since me and Satsuki went first, so we get the best ones. I chose Phoenix Promise. We've already gushed about it all stream long. The aesthetics, the flames, the single eye in the middle of his chest, the shading on his wings, the fact that like the flames are both on him and they're coming off him as well. It's amazing. This picture's amazing. My second picture was the first picture that we actually saw of Brave Giant when he's turned on from the side and he's just hanging there chilling. Bro, he looks like a fucking like yo bro. Brave Giant. You can't tell me Brave Giant doesn't look like a monster in this design. Like it's is it the best design bot?
I chose the one because you guys have chosen some of the best. I chose the one where Phoenix Man like first like really flat like in his prominence mode, just goes all out and like destroys like the little braids. I just think his pose looks great. And the second one, I think like the detail on the right. I mean, Raz does good art, but this is extraordinary.
It's adorable.
I mean, my favorite panel for age has always been Saitama on top of the Hero Association building, looking over the giant ship. This might just top it, you know? It's just, I mean, look at the umbrella, the detail. Look at his face. Grimm, for the podcast, zoom right in on the face.
It is truly the prominence, isn't it?
Keep zooming in as fast as you can. This is the true prominence mode. Thank you, Kishin. There we go.
The new thumbnail?
Please, yes, Grimm. This is Grimm. This is your new.
Make it
channel.
his icon.
Yeah.
Because it's even round, so it's perfect.
Oh shit! All right. What's up, Kishin?
My first one is, as we were discussing it, I like these two panels kind of definitely stuck out more to me than when I read through it the first time. The first one is after the impact of the knuckle sandwich, and then we get that fan cannon finally confirmed about the underground people, and you have the underground king and everything, and the possible elder centipede in the background. Looked pretty cool, you know? Something that the community wanted came true. What more could you want, right? And then the discussion about the, let's call it the underground people graveyard. It's spooky. It's got that atmosphere, and then, you know, with the dust and sand kicking up, that it definitely sells it for me.
There are children in this grave, bruh.
We don't know if they're children.
Hey,
they might, you know, instantly grow up.
The one right here in the bottom right side of the picture, there's a hole in his chest. What the fuck?
I didn't say it was a nice scene. It was just a cool scene.
Murata is dirty. All right, what's up, Sundown? Oh man, I was gonna pick that shit, bro.
All right, here we go. So the first one. Now, I saw this double spread and I almost shit my pants. I mean, like, the fact that the new design for Brave Giant looks so Gundam-y, and then, like, I think this is the first time we see him with his shield and his sword in the same panel. And also, his boosters have just come out of his calves and his back, so he gets the plates that were originally covering his back spread out and almost look like wings. So it just gave me like an Angel of Death kind of Shinigami vibe from Gundam. And yeah, I just thought that was awesome. You see Phoenix Man just looking over his shoulder like, this bitch ain't gonna catch me. But yeah, I really liked that. I thought it was pretty cool. The second one I've got is just the Phoenix Fire Falcon mode. Sorry, I just saw it Zhoniin put. But yeah, so Phoenix Fire Falcon mode. I really like this design, and who was it that said they didn't? Someone mentioned not liking the design. I think it looks really dope because you can't really tell in this picture, but he's got that speckled, lighter underside. He's got that darker over kind of posterior, and then he's got that flame going down his kind of face and his neck, and he's got the actual flames erupting from his wings. He just looks awesome in this form.
You know what's funny?
Just take a guess. Who you think didn't like it?
The one guy who's actually named after it.
Hey, look, bruh. Look. You know what's funny, bruh? That the actual only good part about this Phoenix Fire Falcon panel is the shining light above it with Brave Emperor, or excuse me, Brave Giant on one knee with his saber in the flashing light. That's the best part of this panel, bro.
You crazy.
What's up, Zhoniin?
All right, well, I mean, I'm just gonna say it straight up. Like, my favorite panels were what Satsuki picked and what you picked. Like the prominence mode reveal. God damn it, it's so damn sweet. I love it so much. And then when he's tanking the punch originally, like, that looks so damn good. Like, it's just so satisfying, in my opinion, just to see that. When you see like a powerful dude like Prominence Mode Phoenix, Prominence Mode Hawkman, whatever his name is.
Hawk Mode.
Prominence Hawk Mode Phoenix, man. Tanking that punch from a gigantic Gundam. It just looks so damn cool. I really can't express the type of cathartic, visceral feeling that I get from this, but I do get it. And damn, just Murata hit everything, all the bright buttons for me with that one. But since we already went over those, I'm gonna throw out Flashy Flash with its little goofy face, pointing in the direction that the sword fell. Like, yes, I will go this way. That I love this panel, as we all do. And then the other one that I really liked is when we see Hawk Mode Phoenix Man grabbing the sword, and you see that smug ass grin on his face, like,
oh yeah,
snap this bitch. I just like how menacing he looks here, and also he just looks super badass.
But the snap
Both
is
true.
bitch. He's got the veins on his face too, bro. Oh fuck, dog.
Yeah. Just before we actually continue, I didn't even notice, like, this might be something you guys picked up on, but in the first double spread that I put forward, Phoenix Man has, like, smaller wings around his forearms. So usually you'd assume that's more, like, it's not a major point, but that's just, like, easier navigation or greater control while in the air. It's just not something I've noticed before.
That is true.
I noticed that shit.
He doesn't seem to have it in prominence, so
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Any final predictions for the next chapter, the next design, or the next outcome? At this point,
Ban gonna kick the shit out of all of them.
Watch my video, The Fate of Child Emperor and Phoenix Man, if you'd like to know what is going to happen.
if we get 20,000, excuse me, if we get 100 likes on that video, Zhoniin will put chocolate and watermelon on his chest and sing "Ring Around the Rosie" during the next chapter review. During the next chapter review.
100,000 likes, no problem. Deal.
Bro, you waited until I finished that to say that, bro? Come on. Just 50 likes. You don't need 150.
I just wonder what we're going to do with G5. That's it. If he's
Watch
gonna come
my
back
video,
into
The
it.
Fate of Child Emperor and Phoenix Man. You want to know what
I will
happens with G5.
I didn't want to watch it because I didn't read the chapter, but because I read it like kind of before we did the podcast, a little time after. I mean before, but I'll watch it after the podcast.
No, honestly, I kind of was just shamelessly plugging it. You don't even really have to watch it because, I mean, it's going to happen regardless. So.
It's
No, I'm
confirmed.
just playing. I'm not even that confident myself. I feel it. There's like a 70% chance that it's probably going to happen.
Shit. All right, that's more than 1%. So you'll be exposed if you're wrong, sir. I'm just like,
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh wait, you promised exposure, but there was a lack of it.
Oh, why did you even bring that up? Oh God.
all right,
Man, I'm just here to
So
stir
look,
shit up.
if you're
You know
watching
how
this,
Grimm is. Don't egg him on.
if you're watching this right now and you have already seen the One Punch Man announcement video where I expose your heroes, the truth about your heroes. Check out the One Piece announcement video. It's a whole series where we fuck around this shit before the podcast. So check that shit out. We use like a minute, 2 minute videos, a bunch of shit on there, and these are some dirty ass. Sasuke's a pig, bro. Satsuki literally he made a monster, bro.
Yo, wait, where did we get that information from?
Satsuki made
That's
a
not
monster,
confirmed.
bro.
I never heard anyone call somebody a pig.
That is not confirmed, bro.
You wanna know how Black Sparrow came into being?
No.
Yo!